All right, let's bring you guys in. Who is hungry? Who is really, really hungry right now? Oh my!
Seriously,
Oh,
I was thinking about that.
that was just unfair.
Right at lunchtime too. What the hell?
Oh man, I'm not enjoying my intermittent fasting, whatever the hell I'm doing during the day. I'm like I could eat my arm right now. So let me see. Is that Mr. Steve Garfield is here? We'll just wait for the man of the hour.
Do you have anything in here?
There he is.
Or from my phone?
Drive carefully.
Love that show.
Yummy, huh?
Oh my God, that was so good.
It was.
Are you hungry as well? So
I already looked up the spices.
I think Steve has curated his entire 2020. He's got his hummus in the fridge. He's
Oh my God, love that hummus.
So let's wait for Faye.
Is he still in the?
No, he just
StreamYard?
left.
Okay.
He just left StreamYard. I saw him there a second ago. I'm sure he's coming. What I've learned is to be patient.
You like my walk through the Arnold Arboretum yesterday?
I didn't actually see it yesterday. Yesterday, what was I doing yesterday? I went to pick up my son from the airport.
During the after show, Joe.
During the after show, he was walking through the arboretum during the after show. We got a tour.
I didn't. I have speaker view on normally, so I didn't. I generally make Garfield larger when he's doing show and tell or when he talks.
There he is.
There he is. Faye.
Muted. Unmute.
He knows. Don't be so impatient, Morris.
What's up, guys? What's up?
This whole episode was like a big existential hug. I mean, it's unbelievable, man. This is like, awesome. You're one of the few people that as soon as I see and hear you, I want to adopt you or at least become blood brothers, but that cut on the hand is too painful. So we'll figure out something else. But
man,
this is awesome. Faye, you're the third person he's wanted to adopt. One was Harry Cohn. Cool. I forget who the first person was. But
I just want to expand my family, expand it as much as I can when you meet, because really, I mean, let's face it, when you meet somebody that's just a joyful person who embodies the love, not just for what they're doing, but for what other people too. And I don't know if I should call you Ryan or Faye or brother at this point, but
whatever you want, man.
The very fact that you passed on your dad and his wisdom, you were like this conduit to us from what's nurtured you and made you the person you are. And so it just made it a really special episode, man. And so thank you for that.
Oh man, it's very nice. Thank you so much. I mean, I think I'm a lot like you guys. I have nothing to hide. I don't have any false airs. I know who I am. I'm trying to be a better. I mean, look, everything I'm doing in my entire life is trying to live up to a pretty exceptional man. That's my dad. Yeah. If you can't tell, I use him a lot. But also, if my 11-year-old says I have a cool dad, then I've won. That's it. I mean, I hate to say it, but like my gauge is pretty simple at this point. If Zoe's like, I like dad. He's a good guy. Like if I get that from Zoe,
hey,
I'm good.
That's just like what else is needed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's really awesome.
That's a pretty simple benchmark in life when your kid actually says, Dad, you're kind of cool.
That's it. And I'm sure when she's 14, she'll hate my face, but
we'll work for a while there, right?
Right. Yeah. We'll work through that when we get there. But she's an exceptional person. She's so giving and selfless and loving, and asked me, Dad, when can we cook for the people that don't have food? And that is a constant from Zoe. And she's an LA kid. She's being raised in West Hollywood, so like she has all the opportunity to not do that.
Yeah.
But because I think I'm channeling all the stuff that I've learned or I'm still learning, and Z just unabashedly takes it all in and just is such a lover and such a light in the world that, I mean, if I don't see her, and I have shared custody, so like I'm that crazy dad. It's like, hey, I'm FaceTiming you at 8:04 in the morning. I love you. Just say you love me today. So,
Yeah.
and that's
You know
a
that-
that's
Nice
a
Hey,
work.
that reminds me actually when her asking you about cooking for people. Have you must be familiar with this guy, and if you aren't, I really, it's a reminder that I really want him on the show, but you should connect with him too. Have you heard of a guy by the name of Josh Coombs?
Josh Coombs.
Yeah, COOMBES. He's a hairdresser, and what he's basically done, generally in London, is he goes and he finds
Yep, that's right.
the homeless
guys.
people,
Yep,
and he
that's why I
gives
know
them
him.
a whole,
Yep.
haircut and shaves them. And
Yep.
he posts these long Instagrams of their story and understanding, and bringing a bit of dignity and back to them, and a smile to their faces. Their faces are so worn and torn, but he.
It's about dignity. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy that I wanted to get on the show right at the beginning, and I've just haven't seen him in my feed for a while. But it reminds me of what your daughter was saying to you. I'm pretty sure if you haven't done that's a huge thing.
I haven't had him on. I mean, I was really fortunate that
No, but I mean, you
buddy.
cooking for people, like actually being able to grill for people, and
So for the entire summer, I did 15 weeks in a row. I brought over my big flat top plancha over to, unfortunately, a restaurant that did not survive called the Shelby over here. And I'm really good friends with the owner. And because we were shut down, he had a very small little patio, and I made 5,000 smash burgers for first responders.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I did that over 15 weeks, and we'd make anywhere between 400 and 600 burgers a time. It was probably one of the most rewarding things. I do a lot of work with downtown, the mission as well. But like I said, it's time. Just to bring it back, it's like, you know what? I can come in and prep. I can give 6 hours of my time on a Saturday when I normally would probably just be watching the Buckeyes route some other teams. Or I can, spend my time doing this. And it's been one of the most, I mean, I'm actually jonesing to do it more. We go up north with Guy Fieri and feed the firefighters and the forest fires. So we've done that a few times, and I make Thanksgiving for the police department and for the fire department. And then Mark, my co-host, who lives in Boise, Idaho, we cook for the Ronald McDonald House as well.
that's incredible.
Which is a pretty amazing organization. If you guys haven't, I mean, it's one of those ones that's, it's McDonald's. Well, yeah, but they pay for everything when a kid is sick and the mom has nowhere to stay, or the dad, it's like they get to stay in this place. So and because we can't go inside now, we bring the grills out and we put them in the front yard, and we make food. They come out with hand boxes.
We've learned a lot, as a country about not taking food for granted, and and also how many kids get their meals from school, and without school, meals, it's crazy. But you're doing, as the saying goes, you're doing the Lord's work, my friend.
I'm just doing what all of us want to do. I just happen to have the ability to make good smash burgers and some nice food, and I'm super lucky. I mean, who knew that would be something that's is more rewarding than getting a paycheck and health benefits. Like it's pretty awesome, actually. I'm lucky.
And sending out embargoed press releases.
Exactly. Fuck. So many years.
You want it back. Admit it. You want it back more than anything.
Well, no.
You're like, no.
No. But I mean, the thing that's interesting is that I've been approached about, my next advertising, running a shop or coming in as a CMO, or even looking at president positions. And, and it's interesting. Companies will see me at one of two ways. There is no middle ground with me. You either get it or you don't. And it's kind of that simple. And then, by the way, if you don't, great, we'll shake hands. I'll give you a hug and I wish you the best. No problem. But I've wanted to find a place that can celebrate the side hustle, which is obviously rapidly becoming a main hustle, but use it. It's like a Trojan horse for new business. It's amazing when you sit across the room from clients and I'm holding a statement of work and I say, Oh yeah, well, you'll see me tomorrow. I'll be on the Today Show, and they're just like, huh? And it's just conversation changed, completely different. I ceased to sell now. I'm now a guy that they're going to actually see making fun of my co-host the next day. And it's been a very powerful tool. I never had at Omelet. I never had that. I had a lot of training, a lot of smart stuff, but I wasn't on TV. And the irony is, it's also the Food Network, guys. Like there are like 7 people that still watch that. So it's not like it's it's not like right, exactly. Of course, guys, of course. Yeah, I'll tell you what, they love me. The wives love me. Okay.
Yeah.
I loved. I mean, of all the stories today, I just the fart machine one was just the best one, because you went into this thing, and rather than just being intimidated and overawed, you doubled down on insanity, and it actually helped you win. And it's almost. And when you look back and you tell the story now, everyone would say, well, of course they won by doing that. But that's not how life works. Life doesn't reward the fart machine.
No, it doesn't. In fact, it typically throws your ass right off the show. But if you're on there and you truly are there just to have an experience and have fun, the people that overthought it were the ones who actually clammed up when the cameras came around.
Yeah,
I obviously have no problem. Public
yeah.
speaking it's just been something I've never been shy of, and Mark's the same way. Mark doesn't like people in general, so our little act works really well because I love people. So his eye rolls are the things that does it. And there's a really funny, so we you guys will appreciate this. We were all sequestered, right? And you weren't allowed to talk to the other contestants when we all flew in. So we were staying at the hotel, and we were in this really shitty hotel. We call it the Meth Western. It's in Clear Lake, California. And when the carpet has just been recarpeted and there's this many layers, then that's not really sanitary. You need to rip up carpet, right? So we noticed that when you open the door, the door was cut out a little bit at the bottom.
Oh man.
To compensate for exactly. All right. You get me. So Bob's like, I know exactly.
There were definitely bloodstains there.
I've been there, I'm afraid.
At least. Yeah. So the next morning, we came down and we were getting assigned our producers, right, to be with us. There's one of those old school pamphlet stands, and it had like water skiing and it had like air ballooning. And so Mark's like, hey, Faye. And I'm like, I come over there, and our producer's kind of looking for us. And he goes, oh my gosh. He goes, do you want to go parasailing tomorrow? Because we had a day off. I said, absolutely. I said, how much beer can we take in there? And this woman overheard us, and we were totally fucking with her. And so, and she comes and goes, guys, hi, sorry, you guys can't do that. And we're like, we're grown men. What do you mean we can't do that? I'm a 42-year-old male. I think I'll be fine. And she looks, and Mark goes, pontoon boating. And I said, great, we can get at least 4 or 5 cases of beer in that and tool around the lake all day. I said, does it go fast enough for water skiing? Mark takes up the water skiing thing. She gets on her walkie-talkie, freaks out. All these producers come over, and the head producer, guys, I'm sorry, do you remember the document you signed? We're like, yeah. And we were totally messing with them the whole time. And so this whole thing went on. They were gonna calling into the main office and all this stuff. And Mark finally just said, we're just kidding, guys. We're not gonna go, we might go air ballooning, but we're not gonna go, other stuff. So we were just messing. We just had to do it because everyone's so uptight. They're so nervous, and it's just like, guys, relax. I haven't died to this point in my life. I think I'll be fine. Like everything will be fine. I'll survive.
What's funny to hear you say that is that I've been studying sort of what the philosophers say about success for about 30 some years now. I was a professor at Notre Dame. I taught philosophy, but
you got to be happy, huh?
Yeah, really. So having fun is the most underrated part of success. And it has something to do, when you told your story about we're not going to win this thing, let's just have fun. There's this great advice in Eastern philosophy about you got to know what to embrace and what to release. And when to do each. Most people screw up their lives by embracing what they ought to release and releasing what they ought to embrace, and so you got to know when to let it go. And people get so uptight and they self-destruct because of not being able to let go and have fun. And just experience whatever you're doing. In fact,
Yeah.
there's a thing in the Bhagavad Gita that says, and I'm not an expert on Eastern philosophy by any extent, but I love to read this stuff now and then. There's a place in the Bhagavad Gita when the charioteer, who's really, you know, Krishna or somebody, he says you have a right to your actions, but not to any of the results of your actions.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, okay, so I don't have to worry about results anymore. Okay, let's just have fun then, you know?
Yeah, well,
And
once
that-
you drop the rock in the pool, the ripple's there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you get the results. Ironically, you're the guy who gets the results. So
Sure.
And the
No, I
trick
mean,
is to
I
keep
love it.
dropping
Your share of the results.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read that in the Hava Nagila also. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great book. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. No, exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree with that idea. But let me ask you a question. When did the consequences ever become so dire when you were true to yourself?
right.
It's
right.
other people's problems, not yours.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're
Like,
absolutely right.
It's not my problem.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny because when we're young, we want to mimic or imitate the people we admire, but the people who never become authentically themselves never let go of that. They're
Yeah.
always trying to imitate others and take on the forms of success that they've seen other people have, rather than realizing, wait a minute, maybe there's a seed in me of something that's not just like what's in anybody else, and that's what I'm here to water and nurture and grow.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Totally
It's
agree.
cool stuff. Now, let me ask you a question. Faye. What's the biggest challenge you face right now? Because to an outsider's perspective, it could be like you're this guy who has fun doing whatever you do and you have all kinds of success at it and stuff. But what's your biggest challenge? What's the thing
Focus.
that you really struggle with?
Focus.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think probably all of us are listening to this and doing this. Hey, Z, come here real quick. This is why I do what I do. Here, come here.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, how are you?
Hi,
Good to meet you. Love your shirt. Notre Dame green.
Yeah, those are great. Go for it.
Irish
Go for it.
green.
I'm on this.
What
I know,
what is she making for lunch?
Charcuterie.
Oh,
Nice.
we'll be right there.
I know.
love
Try-
fatty kids.
I am in so much trouble, you guys. I mean, yeah. She makes sure she has her Castellano olives, and
Yeah.
she's very, very big into different types of cured meats, jamon de
Oh,
serrano
wow.
and prosciutto, and she likes
Oh,
manchego
so
cheese
good.
and honeycomb. That's her big thing now. Honeycomb with almonds. Yeah,
Really?
Sweet.
yeah. This kid is I'm gonna be so poor because
Wow,
this.
that's new to me.
Yeah, but the idea
hungry.
of
Focus,
focus
Yeah.
is my thing, man. It's like Mark will call me and be like, "Did you do it yet?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "The thing I just talked to you about 3.5 minutes ago." I'm like, "But there's so much that's happened since then."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What's happened since then?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm moving forward."
Mm.
So I have a challenge with that. I mean, that's why entrepreneurs don't always make the best business people.
Yeah.
It's like
make
restaurateurs,
great-
right?
They're terrible. Exactly.
Right.
It's like visionaries are that. Visionaries. They're not fiscal visionaries.
Right.
They're visionaries, right? So I always had a big challenge with honestly being able to understand the back of the house stuff. Like I like to stay up there,
Mhm.
and there's always something they're like, well, he's in fable land, which, I like to, I think probably exaggerate some stories and make things a bit, I do like being the guy on the pulpit a little bit and bringing people in, but the fable land has to be tangible so I can continue to tell fables, or else I cease to tell fables and I have to go, break some rocks, which I'm
But
fine with doing.
Ryan, one of the most important parts in your success recipe is partnership. Is having a partner in crime and truly being able to play off one another and assume those characters. And going back to I know we didn't get to talk about it, but I have in some world after Jeff Jarvis was in some delusional world of mine in my head, I was going to be on the Howard Stern show. And I'd already try to practice my answers about, all his inappropriate questions. And I just figured if Jeff Jarvis could be on, then I could be on. But so you being on the after show is I am not worthy, but Howard's a brilliant, it's his show and he is the man on every single level. And yet he's nothing without Robin. and without Fred.
That's right.
And without Gary and all these, you know, and these, some minor and some major, and it's not even about talk time. It's just about that. It's about putting together just a recipe, right, that has all these ingredients.
Yeah. No, I mean, and the restating questions or asking questions is the art itself, because you especially with someone like Howard Stern. I mean, we have not had the opportunity to be interviewed by him, but we have been on the wrap-up show 5 or 6 times, which has been, I mean, it's really, really fun to talk about the episode for an hour that we just heard from Howard. And it's like this, you know, you talk about past stuff, what you're doing, but you know, those guys are so dialed in with how to ask questions. I mean, Gary's learned it from Howard his entire career. So, you know, Gary Delabate is just so good at stopping us and being like, well, Faye, no, I know you want to say this, but Mark, I'm going to go to you. And he just bounces right off of us. If you listen to any of our past episodes with them, they're actually a blast. It's some of the funnest interviews I've ever had have been with those guys, and they become personal friends now. So they're texting us with grilling questions. They're like, you know, how do I clean underneath the thing that's by the router? That, you know, it's like, well, Gary, you got to get under there, like actually get under your grill. And so we share recipes and tips, and he's a big home.
When you
chef,
hit the
so.
button that goes, Gary,
Yeah.
where are you?
Yep. Yeah, it's a blast, man. It's a blast.
Listen, the journey is just, it's an amazing one. And as I said to you even before, I'm filled with so much hope. Also because I'm on a similar and yet a different journey. But it's you need the hope. Everyone has to have hope, even if it doesn't happen. Even if I never do get on the Howard Stern show myself, it's the ability to keep dreaming. And I think, you know, one of the hardest things maybe this year has been that so many dreams have been put on hold and turned into nightmares. I mean, there's been so much darkness, and yet, you know, you and I are bringing light in our own unique ways to people, and it's just fantastic to kind of share this moment with you.
And it's fun about your success coming through this partnership. On this after show, we've often talked about partnerships. And I was talking to Bob Farnham on the screen here just yesterday about being involved on this after show sort of from the very beginning with Joseph. I was a guest, Faye, in July, and I didn't know Joseph. We kind of lived in different worlds, but I was a guest in July, and he said, hey, why don't you come out and see some other episodes and hang out in the after show occasionally? I said, okay. So he hasn't been able to get rid of me since. I'm here almost every day. And I see how the participation of the different people you see on the screen now and some others who couldn't be here today, we're getting to know each other off screen. We get to know each other in all kinds of ways. We're helping each other with our projects. I tell Joseph that the oldest human epic story is the Epic of Gilgamesh, and it was the first buddy tale. It was the first partner story. And I read a lot of ancient stuff like the Iliad and the Odyssey. The Iliad is about partnership. The Odyssey is about purpose. When you bring those two things into your work, a strong sense of purpose and a strong partnership, you can't lose. I mean, in some way, you're going to win, and it's going to be a great experience.
Yep.
That's great insight, Tom. That's great.
Oh, I told people, by the way, I don't know if you've seen the chat. I Googled your name, Ryan.
I saw
and
that.
On the first page of Google, it says Ryan Fay, MD. Dr. Fay is a burn and critical care specialist. I said, well, if he's critical care with the grill, he doesn't burn that much, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, you'd be surprised how many times I burn myself. Actually. No, I know, it's funny. There's another Ryan. I got to contact this guy, man. There's another Ryan Fay out there.
Yeah, you guys got to talk, you know.
Much smarter than I am.
I got to ask you a question that's off topic, if you don't mind.
Sure.
All right, so I see that guitar mount behind you, and I just mounted. It looks like exactly the same mount in my daughter's room on her guitar, except
the string wing.
Well, not the guitar, the mount. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's called a string wing.
Yeah. It's got a little like the logo in the middle of the wood in the middle.
Yeah, same one. Yeah.
So it seems like you only have the top bracket holding it from the top. I mounted both pieces that came in the kit. I don't know if that's normal or not. She has an electric guitar, not a classic like this.
Well, electric guitar is a lot
Makes sense.
heavier, so it's
Yeah.
probably good what you
Better.
did. This is a Gibson Hummingbird, so it's not super heavy. You know, it's like the old 70s, you know, singer-songwriter guitar. But I do have earthquakes here, so I probably should do what you're saying. But actually, I don't know if you can't see it now, but I have, see the big case back there?
Yeah.
That's an Ernie Ball Stingray Music Man bass. So I'm actually a bass player more than I am a guitarist. So.
Oh, nice.
Really?
She's
Yeah.
learning, so she's,
Yeah, so I'm a funk and jazz bassist for years and years and years and years.
You still
So.
pull it out and play it?
I sure do. I just got it set up. In fact, Eric Clapton's guitar tech down the street set that bass up. Yep,
Nice.
it's gorgeous.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see behind me. I've got a
Oh,
couple.
I noticed.
I saw
I saw your fenders back there.
I've
Yeah, I
got
saw
a ProSonic and a
Yeah.
Blues Junior in the study.
Yeah.
This is just my study. I've got a 412 Ampex and another.
There you go.
nice. Nice.
That's
Mine's,
awesome.
mine's back there, way in the back. You see it?
Way,
Yeah.
way,
Way back.
Is it behind that
still-
door there, Bob?
That's my green screen.
I still think, you know, I'm less impressed with him being a bass player. What I'd like to help him pitch his next project, which is barbershop quartet, but with the beards, bearded barbershop quartet.
The bearded quartet. Cool.
I mean, America's Got Talent for sure. Four grillers in their beards, singing like little angels. And
Bearded grillers?
now combine it with a bit of Weird Al's polka, and
There you go.
this is the kind of mashup that's giving me a migraine. But
I feel
still,
like there's I feel like there's alliteration in there somewhere with the polka and the.
Oh, we can figure that out.
Yeah.
so Faye, do you remember I used to work? I worked for a company called Nando's Chickenland.
Not only do I know, I've met the founder. Remember when we were here in LA, we met
Robbie.
Yeah,
Robbie
and
Brosen.
Rob Brosen. Yep. I still, believe it or not, have contact with him on LinkedIn. And then his counterpart, who now is in Detroit, they tried to open the Chickenlands. What's his name? Is it Mitch? No. What is the guy's name? I'll tell you in 1 second because I have to. I still have peri peri sauce in my cupboard, by the way.
So I was going to say, because they've come up with, you know, they've done many different, you know, product line extensions, rubs as well. Their Pyrenees, which is amazing, spicy mayo. But still, I have not for one day in my life since I've been in the US been without Nando's peri peri sauce.
So good. I love it. Yeah,
So
was it
good.
David Rock is who we knew too, right? Wasn't it David Rock?
I never connected with it's the weirdest thing because I still have peri peri coursing through my veins.
You know who gave that to me first was John Hunt.
No,
John Hunt. He brought me peri peri sauce because I forget what I was asking. I was standing with Lee, and I think Lee was bumming a smoke at me smoke for me at the time, like in LA, and I was standing next to him, and then John Hunt was in town. I don't even know why we brought it up. I think I was actually doing some cooking or something, but yeah, he ended up bringing me back some before it was distributed here.
I want to tell you a quick. I try and stay very diligent about making the after show 30 minutes, although there's no doubt that we could continue indefinitely today of all days. But I want to tell you a quick TBWA Hunter Scara story. I'm about a week into working in marketing at Nando's now in their head office. I've moved from Cape Town to Johannesburg. I'm 22, just come out of college. And almost the first, or like it was the third or fourth day, Robbie says, all right, we're going to the final pitches today for our business. So we went to McCann Erickson or whatever they were called at the time. And we end up going to Hunter Scaris TBWA. We're sitting in this massive boardroom with this massive mahogany table. And all of these people, Mike Shalit and John Hunt and Reg Lascaris, and I desperately need to go and pee. Like Robbie will still say to this day that he saw every color in the rainbow on my face as I went through these different, and I just and at one point I just knew that I was going to pass out, and I just stood up and everyone looked at me and they said, what? I said, really desperately need to pee. And they said, well, go. And I left, came back. And at the end of the meeting, they gave the business to Hunter Lascaris, there and then. And they had a tradition, which is they have these huge African drums. And they would go with the clients and the marketing and the leadership of the agency, and they would all bang the drums as loud as they could. Everyone would come out of their offices and start celebrating and cheering and whooping and whatever. And I remember banging the drum with Reg Lascaris, thinking, oh my God, I'm like this out of body moment right now with one of these giants in the agency business, working for this company, like living a dream, smashing this drum and just sharing the experience.
That's awesome.
That was my moment.
Good.
Well, listen. Yeah, I mean, good times, man. But listen, it brought us back together again, which makes this one of the best days of 2020 for me.
Oh, well, thank you very much, guys. And Joseph, it's so good to reconnect again. And hopefully I can even, I'm already thinking about some people that would really benefit from speaking to you in my little circle. So maybe on many levels, I mean, it's just been an absolute pleasure. More importantly, I'm going to buy me some spice. Well, you guys, I'll tell you what, I have a good discount code. So you guys, Joseph, I'll give it to you. You can publish it and give everybody you want. But yeah, they're good.
I tell you what I'll do. I will see your generosity, and I have no idea if it's going to work or not. But on New Year's Eve, first of all, I've decided to make Planet Fitness my unofficial sponsor, even though they have absolutely nothing to do with it. Quite frankly, I even did approach them formally and they passed. So I was like, well, I don't care. You're still the sponsor now. You don't have to pay for it. I don't give a shit. So I'm gonna, if you want me to, I will make you an unofficial sponsor, an official sponsor to New Year's Screamin' Eve. You just got to send me a little logo and your discount code.
Done. I'll tell you what, and I'll give away an entire set of spices and rubs to someone of your choosing on that night.
Oh my goodness.
So I'll send you the information. But listen, it's been an absolute joy today. And Adam, good to have you on the show for the first time. But be warned, this is addictive, just like his spice.
Thank you for shopping at Wegmans.
And now you're seeing Garfield buy his groceries. You never know what you're going to see on this after show.
That's generally Steve showing us that he's about to buy Ryan's spice.
Yeah, this was great. Give me the code, and I'm gonna go buy that right after I finish.
You actually look like you're about to rob us. You're like, give me the code.
Give me the code.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Faye. It was awesome.
Bye, everyone.